Welcome to the BBC News at 10. Our top stories tonight. Nigel Farage has stepped down as the MP of Clanton on Sea and announces for a by-election for him to become an MP. We'll be speaking to Chris Mason and getting much more on what will happen in the coming days and weeks ahead for Nigel. Also on tonight's programme. Also on the programme tonight, Prince Harry versus court appeal of the issue with magazine, Daily Mail, stuff like that. We'll cover all of that and go back and speak with Nina Smith. Also on the programme, Donald Trump, many more big people including Sama meet in a native summit. Also on the programme, Russian sports fans have all been banned for the next Olympic Games, with a special report. Also on the programme, FIFA World Cup, USA being knocked out by Belgium 4-1, and also Argentina score 3 times in 10 minutes to book third place in the quarterfinals. Also, we'll be going back after London as Nevertheless is still playing on centre court, as he is not giving up as they're into the 4th set. I'll just show you live pictures of that. These are live pictures Novak Djokovic is still playing his game on centre court. They are into the 4th set, and it is a tie-break point. So we'll have that for you.
Mr. Farage going to be announced?
Welcome to the BBC News at 10. I'm Keegan Dobby. Our top headline tonight, Nigel Farage has stepped down as the MP of Clarkton-on-Sea. Because after many sources and many reports of his future just a couple of days ago, and just last week he was accused of different sorts of allegations made against him and his party. Well, he announced on his social media and in a speech this afternoon that he will step down, and he announced that he is going to be a top candidate in a by-election to become an MP of a different town of the Seaside in the UK. We'll be speaking to Chris Mason in a minute, but first, this report from our political editor, Chris Mason, has this report. Stop messing about. It's not hard. We'll speak to Chris in 1 moment.
This is the ITV Evening News with Mary Knight.
Good evening. In a surprise announcement made on his own party's YouTube channel and without facing questions, Nigel Farage said today he is resigning as MP for Clacton. It comes as the Reform UK leader faces intensifying scrutiny over alleged donations of cash and support from wealthy backers. And Mr Farage claims he wants to stand in a by-election which will become, in his words, a people versus the establishment battle. His opponents say he's just trying to distract attention away from his current troubles. Here's our political correspondent, Romley Weeks.
What's Mr Farage going to be announcing?
Reform MPs heading in for the big reveal.
Is he trying to avoid scrutiny?
It's going to be a complete surprise to me.
Apparently as much in the dark as the rest of us.
Is Nigel going to resign?
No, I'm not the person to ask. Isn't it lovely? The sun's out.
Is Nigel Farage going to be standing down today?
Patience is a virtue.
Nigel Farage, their under-pressure leader, not taking any questions himself, but live streaming his promised important announcement.
Let me be absolutely clear. I have done nothing wrong. I have not broken the law in any way at all. I have not misused public money. I've thought about it hard, and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election.
Nigel Farage, ever the fan of the grand political gesture, has put himself right back on the territory he's most comfortable on, campaigning in an election, rather than dealing with the immediate threat of an investigation into his finances.
Farage was being investigated by the Standards watchdog over failing to declare £5 million he received from crypto billionaire Christopher Harborne in the year before he was elected. He's also faced calls for a second investigation after the Sunday Times reported that convicted fraudster George Cottrell had provided undeclared funding for security and staffing in the same period. His resignation means any investigation will be paused, but it will be resumed if he's re-elected.
He might have bought himself a bit of time. He can run, but he can't hide from due process. His game is to ignore due process and to say that it's Stitcher. Well, the news is, in this country, we do things by due process.
His MPs are insisting it's all perfectly normal.
If he's got nothing to hide, why not face the investigation and clear his name?
Well, why not ask the people? Ultimately, this is a democracy. We in Reform, perhaps unlike all the other parties, trust the people. Reform exists to give voice to the silent majority in this country.
He's making it look an awful lot like he's got something to hide.
What, by asking the people? His
By not
constituents?
facing scrutiny?
Oh, look,
By not facing an investigation?
I think you and I obviously disagree about what scrutiny really means.
The Prime Minister at the NATO summit sees it rather differently.
This is a desperate stunt from Nigel Farage, and it's obvious why he's doing it. He is up to his neck in sleaze.
And now Labour, the Lib Dems, Restore and the Tories are all saying they'll not take part in an unnecessary by-election.
Nigel Farage is having a hissy fit because the first time he's actually having to deal with some real scrutiny. What he needs to do is be honest about where his fishy £5 million came from, rather than calling a fake by-election to run away from a standards investigation.
As for the voters of Clacton, these ones were still behind him.
Well, I think they should leave him alone, in all honesty. What he's done is nothing really outside of the regulations as far as I can see.
He won last time and he'll win again.
Knowing Nigel, he's got nothing to worry about. He's honest.
Nigel Farage now heading towards a by-election with almost no opponents.
Why not wait for the investigation, sir?
Seawall in Clacton.
Nigel Farage.
In the summer. Be marvellous, won't it? It's going to be lovely.
Having delayed but not got rid of the investigation, which could lead to a second by-election if he is eventually found guilty. Romilly Weeks, ITV News.
Well, political editor Robert Peston is with the Prime Minister at the NATO summit in Ankara in Turkey. So he's going to let the people of Clacton decide, says Mr Farage. Robert, could it actually backfire against him?
Well, look, as you just said, he says that in the court of public opinion in a Clacton by-election, he's going to prove that the establishment is trying to stitch him up to undermine him in a totally unfair way, and he will defeat them, and therefore, in that sense, his name will be cleared. But in order for that to happen, the establishment, in the form of the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrat Party, have to field candidates. Because otherwise he's got nobody to defeat. And all of them are saying they are not going to participate because they think what he is doing is effectively to escape Parliament's justice. So, unless there's some kind of miracle and Count Binface defeats him in the by-election, he will be back in Parliament quite soon. And then this investigation by the Parliamentary Commissioner will continue. And then the Committee for Standards is likely to punish him. And that may lead to a second by-election. And the big question is, does that make Parliament look foolish, or does that make him look foolish? I think in answer to your question, yes, I think there's a very good chance this will backfire.
All right, Robert Peston in Ankara in Turkey.
I've thought about it hard, and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started. And I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton: if I win, you win. Because if I lose, they win. And we will never, with the two old parties, get the type of fundamental change that we need to fix broken Britain. Thank you.
Well, there you go, that's the moment I did, in fact, resign as an MP of Parliament pour du aussi, puis pour le cause des capitaux.
Tonight at 6, an unexpected twist as Nigel Farage resigns as the MP.
Simon Devon, thank you. Let's join our political editor, Chris Mason, who is in Turkey, where a two-day NATO summit is underway. And Chris, we'll talk about that more later on in the programme. But first, what is Nigel Farage trying to achieve with all this?
Sophie, the key thing to understand here is that the process that was already underway involving the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner could, and we should say could, but could have led in the end to a by-election anyway. So this is Nigel Farage seizing the attention, seizing the initiative, seizing the agenda, and then, as we're hearing there, trying to frame it as a tussle between the people and those he pejoratively labels as the establishment, effectively asking, where does power really lie? Where does sovereignty really lie? And he is pointing a finger at those that many would see as part of the architecture of our checks and balances in a democracy, whether it be adjudicators of the parliamentary rules or indeed journalists doing robust journalism. But he's wanting to get ahead, and in so doing, I think he's trying to create a split-screen moment this summer, where Andy Burnham, in all likelihood the new Prime Minister in a matter of a couple of weeks, is on one side of the screen, and Nigel Farage, the contender in Clacton, is on the other. But already we are seeing from opposition parties a desire to not, if you like, be walk-on actors in what they see as reform's pantomime, saying in many instances that they won't stand. Nonetheless, a by-election generates attention. It'll certainly do that, and it should be a intriguing couple of weeks ahead.
Chris Mason, thank you. Prince Harry and 6 other people have lost their High Court privacy case against the publisher of the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday. They'd sued a...
Well, next slide. Prince Harry has lost the court appeal in central London because after he was founded just a couple of days ago. It comes from multiple sources between newspaper magazines, including the Daily Mail. Magazine covers across the world that he tried to take legal action for his own actions. Well, it comes after he begins to shake a visit without his wife or children. Our royal correspondent Nina Smith is outside Buckingham Palace for us. Nina, we're going to speak to her. We're going to speak to Nina, but before that, this report now. Nina Smith has this report for us. Nina. we're going to go live to Buckingham Palace now and speak to Nina Smith. Nina, you've been following, you've gone back, Nina, you've been following us. So Nina, put us an update of what this means for Harry going forward for the next couple of days while he's here on a visit. Okay, Nina. Thank you first, Nina Smith, our royal correspondent.
Prince Harry and 6 other prominent co-claimants learned today that they have lost the privacy case they brought against the publishers of the Daily Mail. A High Court judge said the Duke of Sussex, along with figures including Sir Elton John and Baroness Doreen Lawrence, had failed to prove that associated newspapers had unlawfully gathered information about them. John Ray reports.
He has staked a great deal on his battle with Britain's press. Today, Prince Harry's crusade ended in a crushing defeat. Not that you could tell from his face at an event in London to promote another project close to his heart, the Invictus Games. But this ruling is a big blow. Just a few miles away, at the offices of Associated Newspapers, no need to disguise emotion.
Today's verdict is not just a victory for Associated's not just a victory for Associated's magnificent journalists, several of whom have had a terrible toll imposed on their health and lives, but a free press generally. Poor Harry. I feel sorry for the way a confused and angry young man has been drawn into this case.
Harry led a group of high-profile public figures, Sir Elton John and his husband David Furnish, the actors Liz Hurley and Sadie Frost, the former MP Sir Simon Hughes, and Baroness Doreen Lawrence, mother of the murdered schoolboy Stephen Lawrence. Between them, they cited 55 Mail stories they claimed were the fruit of phone hacking, tapping and other deceitful methods. But Mr. Justice Nicklin rejected their arguments, saying suspicion, even where understandable, was not enough to prove that the information had been obtained unlawfully. In his evidence here, Prince Harry was both emotional and combative. This was a trial in which tears flowed and tempers frayed. But the ruling is clear, that none of the complainants prove their case. Associated Newspapers is claiming a famous victory. But Prince Harry is not taking defeat gracefully. In a statement with Baroness Lawrence, he called the ruling a complete and obvious whitewash. The lengths to which the court has gone to exonerate the Mail is as shocking as it is totally unwarranted. It feels here like one rule for newspapers and another for the claimants.
Their behaviour generally, in the way that they've reported on these individuals and the way they've treated them, falls well below any ethical standards of a national news publication.
In the past, Harry has scored big victories against the tabloids, but this was a case too far.
This was his personal campaign, almost the sort of truth as he would see it, that he was trying to strike against the Mail, and it's difficult to see where he goes from here. But he has been left with a very large legal bill.
This may be the final legal word after years of controversy over tabloid tactics.
Will you keep fighting?
But it hasn't ended the rancour between the Prince and the press. John Ray, ITV News.
Well, our royal editor, Chris Shipp, is here. Chris, today's defeat's a huge blow, obviously, for Harry, isn't it? And also, I'm just wondering, what are the implications for him and his family more broadly?
Mary, there's so much to unpack here. Let's begin on the loss. Harry didn't just lose today, he lost convincingly. The judge said your job was to prove that unlawful information gathering happened. Having suspicions is not enough. You did not provide the evidence. And not just for Harry's 14, for everyone. Elton John, his husband David Furnish, Liz Hurley, Sadie Frost, everyone, all of their cases were dismissed. And remember, for Harry, he's won before against the publishers of The Sun and the publishers of The Mirror. This is the first time he's lost against a tabloid. And I was there today when he left that event he was at, the Invictus Games. I said to him, how painful was it to lose against the Mail? He stuck his thumbs up at me there, as you can see, got in his car and left. The other issue is, we spoke on this programme yesterday, didn't we, about the whole hoo-ha about where is he going to stay, where's he not going to stay. And one of the reasons Buckingham Palace gave for not staying at the palace was, well, if you're going to make a statement after the case, what might you say, and therefore where does it affect the king in terms of his constitutional position? Harry said today this was a whitewash, and he also criticised the judge, Mr. Justice Nicklin, a High Court judge. Remember, it's the judiciary. They dispense justice in the name of who? The King, Harry's father. And you can see why Buckingham Palace were very nervous about him staying there. And he said the judge used to represent newspaper groups when he was in a private practice, and he was therefore criticising him for not being impartial. That was quite a big statement. The other thing to look at here, have a look at these pictures of Harry today leaving. They had to call some members of the police, the Metropolitan Police. Only 2 officers, as you can see there. But with the whole debate about his security, his team had to say, excuse me, there's so many press and members of the public here, this could become a public order offence, let's get the police in. So lots of issues with Prince Harry, as ever, all coming together on one day today.
Okay, interesting. Chris, thank you. A murder investigation has been launched after a mother and her 2 children were found dead at a property in Bedfordshire. Police forced a
This is a big It's a blow for Prince Harry. He'd arrived in London with a smile and a wave, but was facing a blank rejection and a complete defeat in his fight against the publishers of the Daily Mail, the last of Harry's privacy lawsuits against the British tabloid press, is now over, and it's likely the end of the road for this claim. The judgment was massive and meticulous, 436 pages determining in detail how he'd lost. No evidence of unlawful information gathering, be it through phone hacking, blagging or bugging devices. This is an outright victory for Associated Newspapers, and the publisher's editor-in-chief pulls no punches.
Today, in what was a momentous victory for the Mail, the High Court dismissed every single one of the 97 claims. That is an overwhelming vindication of our journalism. Poor Harry. I feel sorry for the way a confused and angry young man has been drawn into this case. The bitter irony is that his mother, Diana, liked the Mail. We were her paper. We took her side in her acrimonious breakup with Charles.
The case is a costly and unexpected disaster for Team Sussex. Not one of the 14 articles in Harry's claim succeeded. He'd wanted to prove Associated Newspapers had illegally invaded his privacy, publishing stories about him at any cost. He'd wanted to hold editors and journalists to account and force further scrutiny of the press, but his claims didn't stand up.
There was no evidence. And actually, as the case was going on, that became clearer and clearer. I have no idea why Prince Harry came back from America. My advice to him is return to the web.
Right next, NATO. Many people, including the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Donald Trump, are all attending NATO. So they are meeting to discuss important things, maybe even for war in Ukraine, Iran, all sorts of things. So a lot of ministers, prime ministers, and even Donald Trump have all been attending a NATO summit. Let's go live to Turkey-ish, where it's all happening, and join our reporter, Alan. Sir, Alan Johnson's been at Alan. So tell us more about this NATO and what Donald Trump and ministers have been discussing. What have they been talking about today during this NATO summit? Good evening, Alan. Alright then, Alan, can I thank you? Next, it's been confirmed that Russian fans, spectators, even Russian sports people are not allowed to attend the next big Olympic Games. It's been confirmed today that they are not allowed to attend any Olympic Games. The next one will be in 2028. This report now from Aaron Dickinson reports on this developing story about the Olympic Games. Next, the USA have been knocked out of the FIFA Men's World Cup after a heavy defeat to Belgium for us 4-1 as Romelu Lukaku got on the goal on the score sheet. It comes hours before kickoff when Donald Trump managed to get USA's top goal scorer's red card removed after having a phone call speaking with the FIFA president.
That falls for Lukaku, and he will find the net.
It was the fourth and final goal to dump co-host USA out of their own World Cup. And after a controversial build-up, players and fans did not hold back, with celebrations appearing to mock the dance moves of President Donald Trump. Later, the Belgium FA tweeted this photo of Romelu Lukaku with the caption, "Overturn this." And after the match, coach Mauricio Pochettino expressed his frustration on events outside his control.
I feel so disappointed with too many people because mixed things, okay, because they can put politics and can put, manipulation. Talk about the ethic, the integrity, but that is not an excuse to say, oh, we didn't perform because of that. That is not true.
It comes after Trump called the head of FIFA to have a red card reviewed for their star striker.
Yeah, I did. I spoke to Johnny, who's highly respected. But all I did, I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. And you want to see a game with your best players. We have our best players, and they have to have their best. And if we win or we lose, it's fair.
His ankle turns underneath him. Oh, that is... This was the challenge that saw Folarin Balogun sent off against Bosnia.
The final decision is red card.
The one-match ban was then, unusually, suspended by a year by FIFA. Gianni Infantino issued a statement saying, "I did receive a call from President Donald Trump. During our conversation, I explained that there was an ongoing legal process involving FIFA's independent judicial bodies and that the case would be decided in due course by the competent bodies."
As you can see, checking.
Despite his explanation, for many, the very credibility of the World Cup is now on the line. The European football's ruling body blasting the decision, saying, "We express our disbelief at such an unprecedented, incomprehensible and unjustified decision."
It'd be incredibly tight.
And from the England coach who is dealing with one of his own players' dismissals, there was exasperation.
Yeah, where does this start and where does this end now? Can we overturn it or not overturn it, or
is that something that
what is going on?
We'll seek to pursue because, like you say, there's surely a chance. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, where to draw the line is the question that I ask. I have no answer to that. Where does this end now?
So when Balogun ran onto the pitch, there were some eyebrows raised. But through a mixture of Belgian brilliance,
The USA didn't really take charge, and Belgium did.
and some calamitous defending,
Matt Freeze could be in trouble here. The US could be in trouble here. It's a shocker of a goal.
USA went on to concede 4 goals. Afterwards, the Belgian team spoke of a sense of injustice which they wanted to respond to on the pitch, and they succeeded where it mattered most. Max Walshite, TV News.
Also tonight, Argentina came from 2-0 down to win their game 3-2, and Argentina have also booked third place at in the quarterfinals. We're just gonna go live. To Wimbledon because Novak Djokovic is still playing since court. Novak and Felix have been playing on center court for just over 4.5 hours.
To Djokovic's anticipation moving before Auger Aliassime has hit the forehand approach.
So these are live pictures.
Making Ogier Aliassime play the volley, couldn't handle it.
I feel like I'm still playing onto the court. So I just hit it for just over 4.5 hours on the court.
Another 7 more minutes and it will be the longest quarter-final ever.
Let's go left to on. Speak to our reporter Chris McGuire. Chris, you're outside of the Great Lawn. It's been a great day at Wimbledon. We've seen Yannick Sinner, Naomi Osaka, booked their places. Myself who also booked his place in the men's doubles. It's been a fantastic day here at Wimbledon. Like you say, Yannick Sinner won onto the court earlier this afternoon. Also, Naomi Osaka, remember she beat Sabalenka in the last round, but she won her match here today. She almost had a scare here, but she managed to pull it off. Also, Avi Hewitt also managed to book his place in the men's doubles here today. But our eyes are on Never Fish because this game is still going on. It could be going on for hours to come out. That isn't the case, but he's still battering on centre court. Oh my word.
Now we can breathe.
They can be my
He did so well at that point, Novak. There was a ball deep in the middle of the court where he had to fend off the area where the bouncers badly, and then the forehand that he picked up across court
He's
where he
getting
slides.
closer. Feels like he's still further away from winning that match, but he's not stopping this young cut. You can see the reactions of the crowd. A lot of men have been cheering, clapping. It's not so much for the girls who are watching it. If they're not cheering, women are not really cheering. It's all the men that are cheering and clapping for Novak. I'll pop on if you want. I'll pop it on when I'm done. Why can't I do it when I've done this a sec? I promise you won't be awake all night. It's not. It won't take me to charge anyway.
6-3 Djokovic.
Novak is getting really close here on centre court. Just like I said, this game started close at 6 o'clock and we're still here hours later, waiting for a result and waiting for someone to win this game. It's like that I already started this one. But well done to Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka, Yannick Sinner all booked their places today also at Wimbledon, day 9. I won't be, I promise. Here it goes. On this left hand side. Novak is getting really close here on centre court. He's calling this game for 40 minutes.
Is absolutely phenomenal. Getting the ball back into play, driving ground strokes to the corners, and never missing.
And now he has a bit of a cushion.
Here he goes.
And as they change ends once again, Novak has refused to go away from the backhand to backhand rally, and it's paid dividends, hasn't it?
Djokovic is really improving himself in this match.
He knows his strength
This match has been really well here. Watching Novak Djokovic and Felix go head to head here on court. This is a fast to the started, and still here waiting for the result. So, for the side now, after here also booked the place, it's not often booked their place, and they are still here at Wimbledon. All the news are still here, trying to win the glory here at Wimbledon. Djokovic is a very increasing player. He really wants to pick himself by going through to the semi-finals of Wimbledon. Here's the game.
The initial shot was in by 1 millimetre. That felt like it was out by 1 mile. It's the longest quarter-final in Wimbledon history. We've all lived it together.
9 for Djokovic.
And Novak Djokovic. With match points for another Wimbledon semi-final.
Here he goes. Novak Djokovic could be about to win here. We are this is live video and live moments from the Novak Djokovic game. Here we go. They're just focusing on the Novak Djokovic match. Here we go. Novak is almost about to book his place at the semi-finals of Wimbledon. He's done it! Novak Djokovic has booked his place in the Wimbledon semi-finals. He has won it at Wimbledon.
And Felix. How much more can two men give us?
Novak has just won his match on centre court against the Canadian Felix. 5 hours and 15 minutes we were on centre court for that match here, Chris. He's won it in style here. And it's really important that we'll never forget in Wimbledon history. But Novak Djokovic has won at Wimbledon.
Watching this guy for 20 years. And time again in the
5 hours and 15 minutes we were watching on centre court here at home and there for the fans at Wimbledon. There's also fans of the Great Long Way you are present. Super, I've just found out.
Fifth set tie break. Barely missed a shot.
That Novak Djokovic has just won his quarter-final match on centre court against Felix, the Canadian tennis player. Novak will see him again for his semi-final match at Wimbledon.
He just keeps adding to the legend, and this is another one of those. He's got so many numbers, so many stats, tournament wins. But for Felix Auger-Aliassime, the first time out here, it will be one that he will remember because he's become an important part of another
Remarkable from Novak Djokovic. He booked his place at the semi-finals of Wimbledon 2026 by beating the Canadian Felix on centre court. What a remarkable game there, Chris Maguire. Thank you.
Oh, well, I think we all know. We all know. You don't need us to tell you. That was something extraordinary.
on a court that so often delivers the extraordinary, and it will be Jannik Sinner against this man in the Wimbledon semi-finals. He has worked his way through extraordinarily in 5.25 hours. Just to underline, the longest quarter-final in Wimbledon history.
Well, he's done everything to win the match. The quality from both ends. Sometimes
So there will be Novak Djokovic taking on Jannik Sinner in the men's singles semi-final here at Wimbledon for a place in the final of Wimbledon. But well done, Novak Djokovic has beaten the Canadian Felix to book his place into the men's singles semi-finals.
The rallies, the movement, the intensity of a match like that when you run literally a marathon.
Daughter and mother hug. Son wasn't far away. He is 2 wins away from a record-breaking 25th Grand Slam title. Still so much more work to do, but the work he's done tonight.
Again, he will face Jannik Sinner in the men's singles semi-final for a place in the final of Wimbledon 2026.
So let's see what he has to say. Through in supernatural fashion. And here he is with Rishi Persad.
Wow, what a match. Here we are, Novak, under the roof again. 5 sets, late night, centre court. How did you win that?
With racket and a lot of heart. You know, a lot of, I guess, management of the nerves and the extreme tension that you feel in this kind of matches. You know, towards the end, really anybody's game. I think the score line was pretty much even all the way through. I mean, that's kind of a, you know, a reality image or presentation of this kind of match today. You know, I think it was really anybody's game in the super tiebreak in the 5th. What can I say? I mean, these are kind of moments that I still play tennis for sure. I wish it was finals, you know, so I don't need to worry about how the body will feel tomorrow, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that I won. Yeah.
We know that you